The horror genre is one that is plentiful, but one that is also lacking in quality titles that stand above the rest. Well, with the newly remastered and re-released Maiden of Black Water, or also known as Fatal Frame 5, that was previously relegated to the Wii U, which had a very low install base and an even lower fan base of the horror genre, Maiden of Blackwater finally sheds its shackles and finds itself across all platforms, including the PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and where we are reviewing it today, the Nintendo Switch. So let's see how this game from 2014 holds up in 2021. To start, Maiden of Blackwater doesn't just put you in the perspective of one character, but rather three. As you begin to unravel the mysteries that have fallen Mount Hikami, you will take helm controlling Yuri Kazukata, Ren Hojo, and Miyu Hinasaki. All three of them have their own specialties, but when it comes to playing and controlling them, outside of a few differences, they all relatively control the same. You have a camera as your main piece of equipment, or you can call weapon, and that is the camera obscura. And right off the bat, I want to talk about how crazy it is to have this type of horror game not give you any real weapons, but instead strap you with a camera that can exorcise spirits and ghosts. At first, when I was looking into the game, that concept just didn't sound like it would work. But after well over a dozen hours with the game, I can see I grew to love this concept. The camera obscura makes great use of the Switch's motion controls and allows you to control your camera either traditionally or by using the motion. And I really suggest using the motion, as this will enhance the experience, and once you get good at it, it definitely feels unique. Now that I have dived a little into the protagonist and your main weapon of choice, let's talk about the gameplay. So like I said, Maiden of Blackwater has you take control of one of the three characters, and the way it does its storytelling is in short stories or chapters that unfold in what the game calls as drops. These drops are essentially game chapters that vary in length from somewhere around 30 minutes to a couple of hours to complete each one. In total, there are 14 chapters to the game, and the game will take you somewhere in the ballpark of 15 hours to complete. Or if you are like me and constantly get lost, or if you are a completionist that wants to find everything, your playtime could go well over 20 hours. The gameplay during all of these chapters will go as such. You will get introduced to what is occurring that chapter. For example, Yuri may have just saved a girl that had been seeking out assistance with locating her best friend. And before you can give her an answer, she makes her way to Mount Hikami to go and look for her alone. You then, as Yuri, go to find her and help her, and find out that she's in massive danger. You are able to save her ultimately and bring her back, but before the chapter ends, you find out she said, "F it, I am going back to Mount Hikami." And your venture starts again later on. Now, I'm for sure paraphrasing, but for each chapter it is unique, and the situation with the star character changes as well as the details. The who behind you are looking for, or the what, can vary and change, but the nuts and bolts of it, as I stated, are the gameplay loop. Straight up, I will say some chapters are more interesting than others. Like one I came across the creepiest and really attractive poltergeist I wanted to know more about, and others are just glorified horror fetch quests that I was just trying to run as quickly as possible to get done. Not all chapters are created equal, and this definitely swayed my overall opinion of the game. But nonetheless, I had a great time and can still highly recommend Maiden of Blackwater for the gameplay loop and keeping things interesting alone. When it comes to visuals and audio, the game is of two minds. For one, it really excels. and on another, it drops the ball just a bit. Well, since I've talked about dropping the ball, let me just start there. First off, temper your expectations just a bit, remembering that this is an up-res game from 2014 that at that time was already on an underpowered Wii U system. So set your expectations a little lower than normal because in the visuals department, it does okay. So overall for visuals, I will say at times I was highly impressed with Maiden of Blackwater as it can look stunning. There are scenes that involve water, scenes that involve indoor areas like the antique shop you live in that will really blow you away and look absolutely modern and gorgeous, especially if it's raining. On the other hand, there are some areas like the forest, creepy freeways, and some indoor areas that involve a few locales that just look absolutely dated. The game really goes back and forth, blowing you away and at other times showing its age. I would say that there is a balance between the two, and it still is really nice overall. As for on the Switch, it looked great in handheld and amazing when playing docked on my LG OLED. I know that the PlayStation 5 and other systems may look even better, or they could look so good they highlight some of the ugliness, but I for one say that this is a great looking game on the Nintendo Switch. Since I'm on the topic, the game also really runs well on the Switch. There is one annoyance that you do need to know about though, and that is, I think, caused by loading. At least a dozen times per chapter, the game stutters quite a bit. Normally this happens when you're crossing into a new path, a new hallway, or just into other areas. It seems like a really bad frame drop and it can be jarring, but it's not anything that ruined the experience, it's just really annoying. Outside of that, it ran great. Where the game really hit a home run was the audio. I used headphones for about 90% of my experience and the ambiance is off the chain. I'm talking rustling leaves, creaks, cracks, ghosts belting out, your AR partner talking, water swooshing, waterfall noises, fire cracking. Everything is amazing. This is one of the best sounding games of the year and really leans hard into building one of the most atmospheric worlds I have had the pleasure of being a part of all year. It even rivals the recently released Resident Evil Village, and honestly from an audio department surpasses it at time, really bringing the scares out. So overall, do I recommend this game? Is it a buy? Is it a pass? Or is it a wait for a sale? Now my answer overall will vary on when you're watching this video, what you're looking for at the time, but in general, I will say yes, I do highly recommend this game to anyone who is a fan of the horror genre or who has interest jumping into the genre and is wondering what games to play in it. Maiden of Blackwater is definitely a unique take on the genre as a whole, giving you a great story, awesome characters, and an even bigger star than the characters themselves being Mount Hikami, and the history and the lore that will unfold as you play the game. It also has decent visuals, amazing audio, including really good voice acting for the Japanese audio, and honestly enjoyable work as well for the English voice cast. Now at first, when I first started the game, I thought the English voice cast was a bit rough, but it did slowly grow on me. But again, the option, it is there for you, so you can change this at any time. So if you're in the market for a horror game at a well-priced title at just $39.99, this one should be 100% on the list. If you're not a fan of the genre, or just unsure of the twist of using a camera as your main weapon, or anything I stated about how the story is told, then you may want to wait to just watch more reviews, check out other gameplay, or watch some live streams, where you can also watch those on our channel as well. Check out the cards right now to make a decision, and potentially you may just want to wait for a sale or pass up on the game altogether. Thank you all for watching our review of Maiden of Blackwater. For more Maiden of Blackwater content, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell right now. And for other interesting videos that you might enjoy, hit the videos on screen right now, and we'll see you on the next one.